Hey everyone, ArdrethShadow here, and welcome back to Shattered Time Rewind. So previously, MC kind of broke the rules of the ritual, and he met Tyrannikos and got to face his wrath. And, well, he kind of feels as though he got himself into hot water because he tried calling Amy in the past, and now she's basically going to take Natsuki's place. And now he's definitely feeling pretty guilty about it. Anyway, okay, so where we last left off, you know, basically he still has Kodonoa on his mind. Eventually, I start to doze off. I guess my mind could only keep running for so long before getting exhausted from overthinking so much after all. Daniel, there you are. Are you daydreaming again? Honestly, what am I going to do with you? Huh? Oh, Kodo. How long were you standing there for? Long enough, I suppose. A lot of the other students left for their clubs already, while the rest have gone home. What is it that has you in such an induced stupor, anyway? Nothing important. So long as it's nothing naughty, I suppose. Naughty. Okay, no. What? Hey! Oh, come on, Daniel. You know I'm only messing with you. If you have to know that badly, I was just thinking about what to say to someone, that's all. Kodonoa Higurashi. I can't even tell you how or even why we ended up being friends, but here we are. We met back in the middle of junior high by sheer chance. I always thought Kodonoa was too popular to ever want to have anything to do with some schlub like me. And yet, we bonded after getting paired up together for some silly science project. Things kind of went on from there, and we remained good friends in high school. I wasn't lying when I told her I was thinking of what to say to somebody, but I'm not going to tell her that she's the one I want to tell this to. Especially considering just how embarrassing it is. She gets closer to me, her lilac fragrance making itself known. Is that so? Just who is this person? Do I know them? Probably. Yeah, you do. You see her every day in a mirror. And just what is it you're going to tell them? I already said it wasn't anything important. The look on your face says otherwise. Hell, if I'm going to straight up tell her to her face, "Hey Kodo, I like you! Want to be my girlfriend?" Like out of some silly visual novel. Earlier this year, I started feeling different around her. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I realized it was because I had strong feelings for her. Why do feelings have to be so complicated? You tell me. Why don't they give you an instruction manual for this kind of stuff? For real. I don't want to ask her out and sound like a damn idiot. What are you doing here, anyway? So grumpy. Well, I just wanted to see if you wanted to stop by after school, that's all. Since I have some free time to myself, I figured I'd bake some of the cookies we like so much. Cookies? Did someone say cookies? Okay, well... Looks like I said the magic word there. And... that look she's giving... Well, you drive a hard bargain, but alright. Very well. Shall we be off? I give her a nod as I pack up my things. As I do so, I notice she's looking off into the distance, seemingly lost in thought, possibly thinking about the ocean's gray waves. I approach her and wave my hand in front of her. Kodo? Hey! Earth to Kodonoa? Oh goodness, I'm so sorry. I guess I was just drifting off for a moment there, that's all. And I'm the one getting flack for daydreaming and staring off into space. Okay, fine, let's just call it even then. For real, though, what's wrong? Oh, it's nothing. Nothing important. Kodo, come on. We both know you're a terrible liar. I might have been born at night, but not last night. We've known each other for a while now, so I think I can pick up on these things enough. Fine. Do you remember last week when I told you about the love letters I found in my locker? Oh right, your so-called secret admirer that won't take a hint. I thought you were going to toss those stupid things out and quit thinking about it. Yes, I know that's what we said, but... lately, I've been getting these rather strange text messages out of the blue. A lot of the language and mannerisms seem very similar to those letters. What? Does your father know? He's a friggin' chief of police, for crying out loud, so he should be able to do something. I don't know if I should maybe lower this a smidge. This one does seem a little louder than the others. Anyway. Well, I don't want him to worry about something as trivial as this. I mean, he already has his hands full with that night nurse case, for one thing. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But he's your father. Any good dad should know about this kind of stuff. Any good dad should actually give a damn about his kid. Oh, Daniel, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. No, there's nothing to be sorry for. You get what I'm saying, though, right? I know you're right. I really do. I don't want to be a burden on anyone. I haven't even told Mio about this, because I don't want to frighten her. You're not being a burden on anyone, Kodo. Oh, really? Then how do you explain my father becoming so hard on me lately? How do you explain him lashing out at me for asking him for silly little favors? Do you know, Daniel? Because if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them right now. I took a few steps back from her. I've never seen her this upset before. She's also never yelled at me like that before. I'm left speechless. After seeing the look on my face, hers turns to a look of horror before tears well up in her eyes. I'm so sorry, Daniel. I didn't mean to lash out at you. I'm no better than he is for taking out my frustrations on you. I know you're just trying to help, but... Her voice cracks before she breaks down into stifled sobs. I cautiously approach her before setting a hand on her shoulder. Kodonoa. She looks up at me with glassy eyes soaked with tears. I'm shocked even further when she practically falls into me. Thrown off balance, we end up against the wall before sliding down to the floor. Fortunately, this CG, apparently the only version of it in existence, well, the quality was not all that great because the image was very tiny, so my apologies in advance for this, but we were working with what we had. I know. It's okay. If yelling at me makes you feel better, then just do it, okay? No! Why would I do something like that? You don't deserve to be treated like that. And you don't deserve to feel like you're a burden on anyone. I still think you should just tell your dad, but if you're not going to do that, I have to be really careful with my words here. Come on, don't screw this up. I'll always be here for you, Kodo. I promise. If you ever need me, I'll do my best to be there for you. After all, always be my dearest friend. Yeah... I care about you, Kodo. I was this close to confessing to her, but now is not the time. Not when she's emotionally vulnerable like this. Even then, I kinda doubt she'd ever want a love confession from me. Ever. She seems to calm down a little bit. Are you feeling a little better? Well, just a little bit. We get up from the floor and Kodono wipes away her tears. I mean it though. I want to always be there for you, Kodo. Whenever you need me, I promise I'll be there for you and do whatever I can. What? Oh, it's nothing. I was just thinking to myself. Really? Are we going to do this again? I guess we're right back to where we started, aren't we? We share a laugh as she makes her way to the door. Oh no, don't think you're going to get away from me that easily. I chase right after her into the hallway. Hey, listen. What is it? I'm caught off guard as she wraps her arms around me. I'm a little hesitant to return the favor, but I end up doing so after recovering from the surprise hug. As she pulls away and I let her go, she surprises me yet again with a kiss on the cheek. Thank you, Daniel. I needed to hear that. I'll keep you in mind the next time something happens. You promise? I promise. Just say the word and I'll knock that stalker's teeth out. Oh, Daniel, why must you always joke around about using violence? I swear, I worry about you becoming some kind of delinquent sometimes. You know I'm just joking around. I'm serious, though. I want to look out for you. Sometimes I wonder what I did to deserve someone like you in my life. Well, enough of that. Let's be off so I can start on those cookies. I give her a smile as we go on her way. Little did I know that would be the last time I ever got to see her. The very last time. Well... the last time I saw her alive. The last time we spoke to each other. Tell me, Kodo. I kept my end of our promise. Why didn't you keep yours? I said I'd be willing to help you however I could. I told you I wanted to be there for you. I loved you, Kodo. Why did you do this? Why? June 4th, 2019. It's morning now. Time for school. Okay, let me just put this back up. Good thing about these newer, well, the newer version of the template, we have numbers now, and I don't have to be like, yeah, I think they match. Time to relive the same June 4th that I've been reliving for however long it's been. One difference will be there won't be any Amy around to be all creepy and perverted around me. What is really going to seal the deal on this whole thing is if Natsuki manages to survive or not. I'm still not feeling great about what ended up happening, but if she manages to live another day, then it'll be worth it, right? If her life can continue on, everything I've done won't be for nothing, right? Well, here we are. I wonder if I'm going to have ArdrethShadow greet me in his usual fashion today. I'm stopped in my tracks by a somewhat familiar tap on my shoulder. I turn around and catch a glimpse of bright orange.
Daniel? How are you holding up? Ah!
She lets out a small yelp as I throw my arms around her. I never thought I'd be so glad to see her again.
Daniel? What are you doing? People are staring at us.
Let them look. I was so worried about you.
I'm fine, though. Yuri told you everything, right?
I let her go and take a few steps back.
Wow, Daniel, I never knew you could be so affectionate.
Yeah, Yuri told me everything. How'd you know? Did she call you or something last night?
Yeah. She was really concerned about you. She told me about Amy. She also told me that you met you-know-who after the fire broke out. That's kind of why I decided to come to school just a bit later, actually. I was lucky I got out of there when I did.
No kidding. Here I thought that bastard really killed you, but it turned out to be a bold-faced lie.
I'm fine though, Daniel. You don't need to worry about me, okay? It's going to take a lot more to get rid of me like that.
Alright. Well then. Tell me, have you seen any police looking around for me or anything today? Very grumpy today.
No. Why? Should they be?
I simply smile back at her. No, I guess they shouldn't be. With that, I make my way to my locker. Thanks to that little hold-up courtesy of Mio, it seems I don't have to see Jody Turtle's stupid face right now. I feel much better after seeing her again. She's safe. I feel so glad that I decided to have a little bit of fun with that little experiment I never got to try. I walk into a familiar classroom. That's when I spot her. Hey Aiko! You remember me? Unsurprisingly, she's looking at me a bit confused. Time to see if I can use my little knowledge of the future to my benefit. I used to sit behind you in Mr. I used to sit behind you in Mr. Oikawa's class back in junior high. Seems like I've rung a few bells for her. Okay, let's go in for the kill. I bet you and your friends still have that thing for him. Bingo! Scrabble. Her face lights up, albeit still a little confused.
Oh, hey there! How have you been doing?
Can't complain. Well, it was nice seeing you.
Huh? Hey, wait! Didn't you want to talk more? Were you trying to ask me out? If you are, you're doing a really bad job at it.
I turn on my heel and walk out of that class. I know it won't do me any good now, but nice to know I can use seemingly useless information like that to my benefit. I probably could have asked her out, but after she told me her name, I remembered something. Aiko has a reputation for being kinda dim and dating like 10 guys at the same time. She might be cute and all, but yeah, no thanks. And from that little exchange we had, she also sounds like a chipmunk whenever she gets excited. Last class for the day. It's a free period. School was relatively boring today, especially since I was coasting through on autopilot most of the time. I had lunch with Mio and Yuri earlier today. I noticed they were both still wearing those rings from before, but I didn't really question it. Maybe they just like wearing them. I'm not sure, but whatever works for them. What's strange, though, is the fact I haven't seen Natsuki at all today. God, I hope I didn't screw this up. The teacher approaches the front of the class. He had an announcement to make. I look behind me to be met with an empty desk. She's not there? Where is she? Why is she still... I'm startled by the sudden opening of a door.
Sorry I'm late.
My head darts to the back of the room. There, standing in the doorway, is Natsuki Sairinchi, alive and well. The teacher gave her a stern glare as she takes her place near me. Despite some snickering from the rest of our classmates, Natsuki pays them no mind as the teacher clears his throat and asks for silence. Once everyone is quiet, his tone became very somber. No doubt he's got a certain announcement to make. I take a quick glance behind me, noting the sad look on Natsuki's face. I already have a feeling what he's going to say, but I sit through it. Sometime between last night and this morning, Amy Shida was found dead in her home. The teacher wouldn't say the cause of her death, even noting how the authorities were still determining what went on. Knowing how they work, I knew it'd be hopeless. Especially since I already knew exactly what went on. After that, he told us to use the free period however we saw fit, and everyone off to do their own thing. I looked down at my hands and thought back to last night. This whole thing seems so surreal. I'm not even sure how to... Hey. I look up and my vision is met with a lot of pastel pink. I still couldn't believe what I was seeing. Natsuki really didn't die that night. She was saved. Amy's sacrifice really did the trick. Hey.
Look, I know yesterday was kind of weird between us, alright? I don't even know why I asked you that stupid question. It's like you were just the first random person I saw, and I felt like I had to say something and I didn't care who I said it to.
Yeah, I can get that. Yeah, kind of. I know the real reason why, but I'm not going to force her to say anything she's not comfortable saying. What matters now is that she is alive and well, after all. Now what? I'm not sure what to do next. While I am a stranger that probably doesn't matter to her, she did just lose someone important to her. Everyone seems wrapped up in their own little things to even offer some amount of sympathy to her. As much as I hate to think about him, I can't help but think about some words my old man said to me once after my grandmother died. No matter what goes on in your life, no matter what happens to you or anyone else, the world will go on, with or without you. Well, looks like you were right about something. I hate to admit it, but looks like these guys are the living example of his words. I hate it when he's right. Well, I'm probably the last person to do this, but I feel like I have to at least do something for her. So, how are you doing?
Huh?
You and Amy were friends, right? Her eyes dart down to the floor, and her expression becomes wrought with melancholy. Sorry about that. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just being an idiot, so just ignore me.
I don't get it. It just came out of nowhere. All on the day before her birthday, too. She seemed completely okay yesterday, and there wasn't anything bad going on in her life. At least, nothing I knew about. She was even excited about her birthday plans and all. So why?
I see. This is all starting to feel kind of familiar now. The only difference here is that a year ago, I was where Natsuki was, just pouring my heart out to Mio. It seems like Natsuki catches me drifting off into my own thoughts.
Oh, that's right. Kodonoa.
Did you know her?
Well, kind of. I know that both of you were pretty good friends from the way she would talk about you sometimes.
That's when I remembered Natsuki's diary. She talked about Kodonoa a little bit. She said she felt like the sister that she never had, right? Yuri also said they knew each other well enough. I should probably tread carefully with this information. Unlike Aiko, I don't think Natsuki has the IQ of a peanut, and she'll know something's up if I'm not careful. Yeah, something like that. What did she say about me?
Not much, really. Just that you were a guy she met back in junior high, and how the both of you became unlikely friends. She also told me you were socially inept sometimes, she also told me you were socially inept at times.
What the? Hey!
Her words, not mine.
Yeah, that does sound like something she'd say about me. Still, though, the fact she'd go around saying this to just about anyone.
Hey, well, I wasn't just anyone to her, you know.
Huh. Seems like you more than just kind of knew her then.
Alright, you got me, okay? It gets difficult talking about her sometimes. And now with what happened to Amy.
Okay, I didn't mean to be an ass to you. It gets difficult for me too, just thinking about her. That's why I thought I'd ask to see how you were feeling about Amy. So grumpy.
Well, it looks like she was right about you being the sentimental type. Well, if I'm being honest, I'm still just trying to process the whole thing. I haven't even felt like crying or anything about it at all. That doesn't make me a bad friend or anything, does it?
No, not at all. I was kind of the same way when my grandmother died way back in the day. It honestly didn't hit me until a few days after her funeral. Let me tell you, when it hit me, it felt like a goddamn truck of emotions. Everybody's different with how they handle things.
Huh. I guess I hadn't thought of it that way. Well, thanks for the talk, Daniel. And sorry for dragging you to my little mess with that random question.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, thinking about it now, I know it was kind of random of me to do. I wasn't sure if I just made you think I was weird or scared you off or anything.
For a moment there, it almost felt like she might have... No, it can't be. There's no way she'd be aware of the time loop from before. Well, it did kind of weird me out, not going to lie, but it's not the worst thing anyone's randomly walked up to me and said.
Oh, really? What's more random than someone asking you if they'd be better off dead?
What started out as me trying to give her my sympathies turned into the most random conversation I've ever had. If I'm being honest, I feel like I kind of needed this. I don't think I felt like this in the longest time. Not since Kodonoha. Soon enough, the bell rings and the horde of wild animals I call our classmates are rushing out the door.
Damn, is it really time to go home already?
Apparently so. As I sling my bag over my shoulder, I feel a tug at my sleeve. I turn to look at a somewhat nervous Natsuki. You okay there?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if... Would you...
Looks like she's struggling to find the right words. Huh. You say I'm the socially inept one, Kodo? Well, given what she's been through, I can't blame Natsuki. For her, I guess I'm willing to take the hit to my pride. Can I see you around?
Yeah! Yeah, I guess so. Just don't let it get to your head or anything, okay?
Yeah, I hear you. And with that, I begin walking out the door. I stop in my tracks when I glance at the clock. The ritual! But nothing is happening. It's already around the time I performed it, right? Does that mean I did it? I did it! Time isn't looping anymore.
I can actually get back to living my life again. It's starting to look like things are turning around for the both of us. Hey, Daniel. I practically stopped dead in my tracks at the sound of her voice. I turned to face her. Blushing furiously, she shoves a piece of paper in my face. Here. Here! And what is this? You've got eyes, don't you? Just don't make it weird, okay? Alright, I'm off. I don't want to keep my dad waiting. Before I can question her any further, she runs off in a brisk pace. I guess runs off at a brisk pace? Yeah, I think at a brisk pace. I unfold the paper and, sure enough, it seems to be a phone number. Well then. Without really even trying, looks like I managed to get a girl's number. How about that? I log the number into my phone and send a quick text message. Hey, it's Daniel. Here's my number so you don't think I'm some kind of creeper. I put my phone away and make my way back home. I'm just about home when I feel a vibration from my pocket. I get up my phone to see the text notification. Got it. You're not Sayori. Okay, well, anyway. And, well, considering I had someone question it in their playthrough, I'm just gonna say that Sayori does exist in the Shattered Time universe. We just don't ever get to see her. But she does exist. I can tell you right now she's alive. But we just never get to see her. And I can't say anything else, otherwise that would be spoilers for future mods. I guess that settles that. I put my phone away and make my way inside. Well, that was boring and pointless. Although, I'll take boring and pointless over breaking to Natsuki's home like 50 times. I had dinner with Mom as usual, and did whatever homework I had. I decided to sneak into the basement while Mom wasn't really paying attention to check on Natsuki's diary. Sure enough, it was still there just as Yuri said it would be. Given the conversation I had with her, I don't think there'd be any harm in trying to learn a little more about Natsuki. Unlike Aiko, though, I can't make it obvious that I know her deepest, darkest secrets. Let me see here. Is there anything else about Kodonoha in here? Wait, what's this all about? June 2nd, 2019. Dad. I tried making some of my special cupcakes for the both of us today in the hopes of cheering him up. A lot of my friends love them, so I figured he'd at least appreciate the thought. If he did, though, he didn't really show it outside of just mumbling something that sounded like thanks. There's not much else to do in the house, so I don't want to try and work on keeping things neat and tidy so this place doesn't look like hell. So I want to try and work on keeping things neat and tidy so this place doesn't look like hell. The only problem is, I don't feel motivated enough to want to even do anything. Seeing all the beer bottles all over the place just kills my motivation even more. The more Dad drinks, the more sad and angry he gets. Honestly, I don't know what to do anymore. I used to have plenty of interests, but none of it means anything to me now. Especially since I don't have anyone to share it with. Koto was probably the only person I felt comfortable enough sharing baking tips with, but now even baking just feels empty. I don't even get the same kick out of reading the manga I loved anymore. Nothing matters anymore. I don't matter anymore. I don't want to do anything. Just leave me alone already! If Dad were to tell me to just die right now, I probably would, no questions asked. That's how fed up I am. That's all I can do. It's all I'm good for. Christ. I knew he had some screws loose, but This guy sounds like a nightmare.
I look at the date again. This entry and the next one were written just before the day, well, the day she was supposed to die. It's almost freaky thinking about it. I press onward.
June 3rd, 2019. I spoke to Daniel today. I don't even know why. Yeah, of all the things I could have done and all the people I could have gone to, I went to him. Yep. How desperate am I, right? He doesn't even mean much to me or anything. He's just a guy who so happens to sit in front of me in the homeroom. Maybe it's just some of the stuff Kodonoha used to say about him racking around in my mind or something. It's almost been a year since she passed away, and I've been thinking about her every so often. Well, whatever. I still spoke to him. I doubt he even knows I'm alive, but then again, hardly anyone in the school does aside from Amy and maybe Yuri. I mean, it's not like I asked him for his life story or anything, but he always looks so damn miserable whenever I see him. Part of me can't help but wonder if he might understand me. I probably sound like an idiot right now, but I know for sure he doesn't look like he's enjoying life right now. Neither am I, really, but probably for different reasons. I'd hate to imagine anyone going through the same BS I have to deal with. I wouldn't wish that onto anyone else. Well, except maybe that one bitch named Becky, but let's not think about her.
Becky, this is boring! Okay, well.
Anyway, I didn't tell him anything important since he doesn't know me and probably doesn't care about me. I didn't have anything in particular I wanted to talk to him about either. It's not like I'm worried about anything at all. It's nothing. I just asked him a random question. That's all. Nothing more and nothing less.
So, literally right up until the night before she was supposed to die. I still can't I still can't say if I understand you a little better or not yet, Natsuki. This is just a theory, but given that Kodonoha has been on the brain for the both of us, I can't help but wonder if that played a part in why she talked to me. I'm about to close the book when I turn the page a bit and see something written. Wait, huh? That should be the end, right? This was the day she died. At least that's what I tell myself, but I'm shocked when I turn the page and see another entry. June 4th, 2019. I woke up as I usually did this morning. Dad was downstairs doing whatever. As I was scrounging up something to eat, he told me Amy's mom called me for something. She wouldn't tell him anything, aside from letting me know to call her. I ended up calling and I asked her what was going on. I haven't really ever spoken to Amy's mom all that much since she seems very secretive and kinda strange if you ask me. She spoke to me in this super creepy tone the whole time. After asking me how I was, she decided to cut to the chase and told me straight up why she called. Amy killed herself last night. I nearly dropped the damn phone. What? When I tried to ask her more, she didn't really say anything much. In fact, she sounded pretty damn calm for someone who just lost their only daughter. Your only daughter who just so happened to kill herself the night before her birthday, I should add. As if she didn't already seem creepy, as if she already didn't seem like a creepy lady in the first place. She ignored all my questions and just asked if I told her anything. Hell no! Why would I tell my friend to do something like that? There was a long pause before she told me, "Thank you, that's all I needed to hear." Then she hangs up on me. What the actual hell? I went to school after that, but I had this whole thing weighing down on me the whole time. Weighing down on me the entire time? Yes, I know, sometimes I am trying to get better. Like, if it wasn't obvious by, like, some of the word choices in the last two videos, this script is at least a couple years old. So there's that to consider. I mean, obviously, yes, I should have still gone through and checked, but even then, sometimes, like, oh, well, these words aren't spelled incorrectly, so obviously it doesn't pick up on that. Oh, well.
School was as boring as usual, but everything just felt so depressing, especially whenever I tried to look for Amy. Then I'd remember that she wasn't there anymore. Why did you do it, Amy? What made you want to take your own life like that? Especially since you had made plans for your birthday, it just doesn't make sense.
I feel a lump in my throat, and I almost dropped the diary. I know what made Amy take her own life. I still wish it hadn't come to that, but I doubt Natsuki would understand why. There's a little more to the diary entry. This one is surprisingly kind of long compared to the other ones, so I continue, despite this awful pit in my stomach.
When it was time for homeroom, I was almost late. I could have honestly cared less about school today, but given the mood I was in, but I lost track of time. I didn't even feel like coming today, but Dad told me I had to. Then again, I didn't tell him why I was feeling like crap in the first place, since I doubt he'd really care. I saw Daniel again, right in front of me as he usually was. I was a bit shocked when the teacher went up to the class and talked a little bit about Amy. He wouldn't say what happened, most likely out of respect for Amy's family or something, but I knew exactly why she wasn't here anymore. After he was done talking, he gave us a free period. Since Daniel was there with that same scowl on his face, I went up and apologized to him for being so random the other day. I figured that'd be the end of it, and he'd just think I was some weird girl and never want to speak to me again. I was surprised when he asked me about how I was feeling. We ended up having a decent conversation for the whole period. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting him to even want to talk to me. Even if all we did was talk about some stupid stuff most of the time, it felt good talking to someone. I felt a lot better. Here I thought he would be some sarcastic jerk about my feelings, but he actually sounded very understanding. I told him about how empty Amy's death made me feel, and I questioned if I was a bad friend or something. But then he told me about his grandma passing away and how he felt numb to it at first. It seems like everything Kodonoa said about him. So we don't need this. It seems like everything Kodonoa said about him was true after all. I heard people gossip about how he was just this insufferable asshole and how no one liked him, but maybe they're all wrong. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Speaking of Kodo, I remembered how close they were just based on how she talked about him in the past. It's kind of strange, don't you think? If Amy were here, she'd probably say something stupid like, fate is strange that way. Well, Amy, seems like you were kind of right about that. I don't know what in God's name possessed me to do it, but I even gave Daniel my phone number. Ugh, that had to be one of the cringiest things I've ever done. I wasn't sure if he'd even text or call me, but he did send me a little courtesy text so I'd have his number and not think he was a creep. Jeez, I still remember the rumors about the creep that was apparently stalking Kodo. I hope I never have to go through that. Or, I hope I never go through that. Anyway, today started out like total shit, but I had a very nice surprise near the end. Maybe now I can see why Kodonoa liked this guy so much. I closed the diary and placed it on my nightstand before rolling into my bed. Yeah, that entry was a lot to take in. Aside from the fact I shouldn't even be seeing it right now, there's quite a bit to process here. Well, Natsuki, I can't say whether or not I live up to your expectations, but
For whatever reason, Natsuki reached out to me and has seemingly made it clear she was more than fine with me still being around. Considering what she's gone through, I don't have it in me to just be a total asshole to her after she indirectly went to me for help. I'm not sure if I'm tempting fate here, but maybe I'll just go along and see how things turn out. Very interesting choice of words here. Overthinking about it right now isn't going to help anything right now. Okay, I guess overthinking about it right now isn't going to help anything. And then get rid of that at the end. As far as I'm concerned, the day's over. I've done everything I can do for now. Tomorrow is another day. With that, I turn off the lights and try getting some well-deserved sleep. June 5th, 2019. Dawn of a new day! Okay, well, Majora's Mask reference. Today started out relatively normal. I made my usual walk to school, went through the first half of my classes, and now I'm here having lunch with Mio and Yuri. That's about the only thing that has changed with my daily routine. I can't really complain though. Even if I'm not really talking all that much to them, it beats eating lunch alone in the cafeteria. I noticed they're both still wearing the rings from before, but I write it off as some kind of fashion statement.
How have you been, Daniel?
I'm jolted out of my train of thought for a moment. Can't complain.
Did you see Natsuki at all yesterday? Considering today's the 5th of June, surely it means everything went well.
Well, yeah, and don't call me Shirley. I saw her in homeroom yesterday. We actually talked quite a bit.
About what?
Bungee jumping. Well, considering she just lost one of her best friends, and it's kind of my fault and all.
Daniel, you don't need to blame yourself. It's as I said before, no matter what you did, Amy was still going to do whatever she felt was necessary to see this through. Even at the cost of her own life.
Yeah, but I'm still the one who had the brilliant idea to call her and ask her what to do.
You said so yourself. You did whatever you could out of anxiety and desperation.
Well, whatever. Anyway, since everyone else was too busy to even give her some bit of sympathy, I guess I just felt kind of bad for her. She even gave me her phone number of all things. Mio stifles a laugh. What?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Mio, you're a pretty terrible liar, you know.
Oh, come on, Daniel. There's no need to get so worked up. Yes.
The funny lady.
Although I haven't spoken to Natsuki recently, it seems as though she really trusts you now.
That's the part I don't get. I thought maybe her diary could shed some light on things.
Wait, you still have her diary?
Don't give me that look, Mio. She is angry at you. It's not like I'm going to use it to blackmail her or whatever. I just wanted to see if I could understand what's going on with her better, that's all.
Ah, I see. Although I can't help but wonder why you've taken such an interest in her.
What's that supposed to mean? Mio and Yuri exchanged glances before looking back at me.
I'm only saying that since Natsuki's life has been saved, I presumed you would have simply moved on and had nothing else to do with her.
What? Well, I don't know. Yeah, why am I still so concerned about Natsuki? She's right. As far as I'm concerned, I did everything I needed to make sure she doesn't... As far as I'm concerned, I did everything I needed to make sure she didn't die. It's like I kept telling myself before, she doesn't mean anything to me at all, right? Before I tried to change the subject to avoid more embarrassment, I remember something. By the way, Yuri, when I was going through the diary, I figured it would have stopped at June 3rd. It didn't.
What do you mean?
I mean that I found a diary entry for June 4th that shouldn't have been there. At least, I doubt it would have been there when I got it. It talked about a lot of things that happened yesterday, too.
Perhaps it's due to a paradox caused by the fact that we have two of the same object existing in the same timeline.
So what you're saying is...
Think of it this way. Only one of Natsuki's diaries should exist in this timeline. That's no longer the case, since you took it from a timeline that no longer exists and brought it into ours. Since Natsuki is still actively writing in her diary, she is effectively altering the condition of the object.
Okay, I think I get that part, but then why am I seeing her diary entry after June 3rd? When I grabbed it, June 4th hadn't happened yet.
In other words, whatever she does to her diary affects the one that you have in your possession, because only one diary is meant to exist in this universe. That's why I called it a paradox. The diary you have is an irregularity in our timeline that shouldn't exist. Considering that it has a
Dang it. Yeah, for some reason my voice is a little scratchy right now.
Considering that it has a corresponding object in our timeline, however, you could say that it is linked to the diary Natsuki has with her. You could think of it as Natsuki having You could think of it as Natsuki having a text conversation with herself that you're able to view.
Huh. Not that I do it, but do you think it could work both ways?
It's possible to think that, although I'd highly advise against it unless you wanted to give Natsuki the scare of her life. You might make her think she has some possessed magical book talking to her.
Okay, I get it now. So, I'm just thinking out loud for a moment. This thing almost works as if I'm having a text conversation with her. Except instead of a phone, it's the diary.
Precisely. Wow. Time travel is strange.
Life is strange. Okay, anyway.
Yes. These are all just my theories, however. Obviously, there are a number of fantasy and science fiction stories that have their own interpretation of how time travel works, so I can't say for sure.
There isn't any further room for discussion as the bell rings.
I'm readily available if you have any further questions or need any help, Daniel. I may not have the answer, but I'll do my best.
With that, the three of us get up and make our way to our respective classes. We never did much in homeroom anyway, but I'm a little surprised when the teacher decided to give us another free period to do whatever we wanted. Maybe it's thanks to the heavy atmosphere of a student passing away, and he's showing some courtesy. And he's just showing some courtesy. Or maybe it's because we're so close to the end of the year and he could care less about what we do. Or care less about what we do. Can't say for sure. To the shock of absolutely no one, everyone goes off to do their own thing. Well, the world goes on with or without you, right, old man? That's what you told me.
Hey.
I turn around and once again have a lot of pink in my vision. Something up?
No, not really. I just...
Somebody's blushing. For whatever reason, she trusts me now, just like Yuri said. It looks like she's okay turning to me, even if she's not going to be straightforward and tell me that's what she feels. It might all be very confusing, but I don't want to be a complete asshole to her and shut her down. Think about the diary entry from last night. That's the last thing I'd want to do to her. How are you holding up? How are you holding up?
I'm still not over it. About Amy, I mean.
I'd be kind of shocked if you were.
And what's that supposed to mean?
I mean, you just lost an important person in your life, right? That that kind of thing leaves some deep emotional scars on you. At least, I wouldn't think it's the kind of thing where you wake up and you feel like everything is sugar-coated rainbows.
I guess that's true. It still doesn't help that I've been feeling like crap.
Wish I knew how to fix that. If you ever figure out something, feel free to let me know.
Huh. So what about you, then?
What about me?
Well, it's not like I care or whatever, but it sounds like you've been down in the dumps a lot lately. I know Amy used to point that out to me.
Wait, so she actually... wait, so was she actually spying on me? Are you sneaking up on me? Okay, no.
Huh?
I mean, I always had the feeling someone was looking at me. I just had no idea who it was. That conversation with Amy never happened, you idiot. Don't blow your cover.
I wouldn't say spying on you, but she was kind of fascinated by you for some reason.
That's not concerning at all. That pervert.
Don't let it get to you or whatever. Amy... She was always kind of a weird person. I guess both of us were kind of outcasts in a way. Maybe that's why we got along so well.
I always thought Amy was very strange, but it's kind of weird hearing someone talk about her like this. The general consensus was she was a creepy weirdo to avoid at all costs, but not for Natsuki. I hadn't thought of it that way. That probably goes for me as well, since most people tend to avoid me like the plague.
Oh, they do not. What about that one girl, Mio?
Okay, aside from her, she's just a friend of mine, that's all.
Just a friend.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
That little embarrassed hop she does. Anyway, aside from her, almost everyone keeps their distance from me. I'm a bit surprised you're not one of them, if I'm being honest.
Oh? And what do you mean by that?
I'm just saying, I'm a little surprised you're not among the many students who seem to think I'm too creepy or dangerous to walk up to and shoot the breeze with.
Hey, I'm free to think whatever I want about whoever or whatever I want. I'm not like some people who hate on something just because it's popular or trendy.
Well, that's good. We could use more people like that in the world who aren't just a bunch of sheep following along with whatever they're told.
Hell no am I ever going to be somebody's sheep. I can't stand someone telling me what to think or feel.
I guess that's one thing we have in common. Natsuki falls eerily silent after I say that. I would like to think I'm still on her good side, but with someone like her, it's hard to get a good read on her.
This whole thing...
I'm jolted out of my thoughts when she starts speaking again.
It just feels unreal.
Yeah. Losing someone important can have that effect on you. Honestly, I don't think it's ever something that completely goes away. Whether it's my grandma or Kotonoa, it's just hard to believe sometimes that they're not there. Especially when it's something like with what happened to Kotonoa. That's what hits me the hardest. Did I seriously just say that all to her out loud?
True. Considering what happened to Amy, it just feels more like... It just feels like more of a shock, since it wasn't something like cancer or leukemia or whatever. She seriously took her own life. And just before her birthday, too. What was she thinking?
Yeah. Just like she did almost a year ago. We both fall silent and can't bring ourselves to say anything until the bell rings and the wildest stampede of students make their way for the door. I guess it's time to go home.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I can feel the dread in her words. That's when I remember her psychopath father. I feel my mouth move on its own as I blurt out the first thing on my mind. You've got my number, right? If you want to talk or anything, I'm around. God, what did I say that? The amount of cringe in those words. Natsuki, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to take it that way.
Yeah, I got your text last night. I'm the one who gave you my number first, you dummy. You haven't bothered texting me at all.
Well, give me some time here. I still don't know when's the best time for you or anything.
As long as you're not texting me in the middle of class, my call schedule is open. Oh, and whenever I'm not eating or spending time with my dad. Otherwise, I'm not going to answer back right away. I try not to be like those bitches that leave people on red.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had somebody like that in my life. And yet, I still just smiled and forgave her and told myself, like, she still means a lot to me and whatever. Until, of course, finally I just decided... Well, aside from her ignoring me, there was also the whole thing where she essentially told me to go screw myself. Because she scares me half to death, and I'm desperately trying to make sure that she's okay. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. As I'm walking out, she tugs on my sleeve just like last time. I could have stopped on a dime as she did that. I turn and look at her.
One last thing. You're not creepy or whatever else people... You're not creepy or whatever else you said people think about you. If any girl ever tells you that you're creepy, they're just doing that to make themselves feel better.
Before I can drum up some retort, she shuffles past me and proceeds to walk away without looking back at me. That was random. I never really gave it too much thought whenever some girl called me weird or creepy, but... well, whatever. I get myself together and continue my long, lonely walk down the hallway. Just having finished dinner and now tackling today's homework. Although it's not long before my mind wanders. You know what? Screw it. I decide to take Natsuki up on her offer and text her. Sure enough, it wasn't too long before I got a reply back from her. While I'd like to make sure her dad isn't hurting her or anything, I figure that I really don't want to overstay my welcome with her. Besides, she's only just recently decided to open up to me. I don't want to scare her off with my knowledge of the future or whatever. It's kind of weird seeing her talk in all this cute emoji language, but then maybe this is what she's really like behind closed doors. If that's the case, then I must be seeing a side of her she rarely shows anyone else. In between my homework, I send her replies here and there. Admittedly, the assignments are boring as hell, so it's not like I'm really working on them that much. Talking to Natsuki seems very therapeutic. As stupid as it sounds, I feel a lot more relaxed talking to her about whatever silly little thing she's... hold on. As stupid as it sounds, I feel a lot more relaxed talking to her about whatever silly little thing she's going on about versus working on this stupid crap. At this point, I'd rather just tell the teacher to put an F on this paper and let me go home. Yeah. Then again, it's almost the end of the school year. What's the point of making us do any of this stuff again? I'm almost tempted to try going through her diary again, but then Natsuki is kind of right here texting me, so... awkward much? Then again, it's not like I can straight up ask her about her inner darkest secrets off the bat. It would still be kind of strange reading it while I'm texting her, though. Fine. I decided to just take a look anyway, and there's no new entry for today. Maybe she usually writes them before going to bed. Or maybe she's been too preoccupied to write anything at the moment. She stopped replying to me for the moment, so I think I'm going to skim through some older entries for a little bit. Okay, this one seems a little interesting.
December 17th, 2017. It's kind of weird how Yuri and I have practically been neighbors for so long, but we don't really know much about each other. Okay, sure, we talk to each other now and again, but I don't think I could have a full conversation with her or anything. Aside from us coming from two different worlds, she seems to keep to herself a lot, so I'm not going to pry anything out of her. We used to talk a lot more, but that hasn't been the case lately. Maybe she doesn't like talking to me anymore. Her cousin Kodanoa, on the other hand. God, where have you been all my life? Or where have you been my whole life? She almost seems too good to be true. For one thing, she's like a regular Martha Stewart when it comes to baking. Yuri introduced us not that long ago, and we really hit it off. Apparently she was also interested in meeting me after Yuri mentioned me randomly. Well, I'm wondering what exactly she's been saying about me. I won't question it, since I finally have someone I can talk to on a personal level. They might look similar, but their personalities couldn't be different. Kodanoa, or Kodo as she says I can call her, is a lot more outgoing and talkative. Nothing against Yuri, but I feel like I can get to know Kodo a lot more. It's like I can talk to her about anything, and she's not going to judge me or think I'm some little kid or whatever. As stupid as it sounds, Kodanoa almost feels like the sister I always wanted but never had. She invited me over this weekend to bake some special Christmas cookies. I'd love to be able to spend the whole day with her, but you know how Dad is sometimes. Still, I'm not going to turn this down. Hell yeah, I'm in.
So that's around the time they met. Interesting. That definitely sounds a lot like you, Kodo. I was never really the best at baking. At least, not on my own, anyway. Sure, I baked things with my mother sometimes, but that was only when she asked me if I wanted to help. Kodo used to talk about baking here and there, but there was never really anything I could add to those conversations. I'm glad she was able to find someone she could talk to about all that stuff, after all. And yet, I closed the book and put it back on my nightstand. No, I don't want to think about it right now. Not when I'm starting to feel a lot better now. I get a notification on my phone. Hey, it's getting kind of late and all. I think I should go to bed soon before my dad has a cow. Talk to you later, okay? Yeah, I guess it is kind of late now, isn't it? Jeez, it's already after midnight. In case you didn't realize, there are quite a few names of other mods hidden in this story. Like Behind Closed Doors, After Midnight. How long have we been at this? Oh well. I quickly type out a response to her. Alright. Yeah, it's after midnight. Okay, see you tomorrow. I'm probably not going to be as awake when I get to school, but I'd like to think it was worth it getting to talk to Natsuki. I haven't told anyone I could talk, I haven't had anyone I could talk to like this in a long time. Not since... June 7th. Okay, so we skip ahead about 2 days. Okay, well. Considering I know what's kind of coming up, this probably would be the better spot to kind of leave things at. So, officially confirmed, Natsuki is still alive. She has been saved. Now, though, it seems like a little something is going on between her and MC. Well, I guess we'll get to have a look more into that the next time around. Yeah, and maybe I should even take a break since my voice is... it's still kind of hurting me a little bit. It wasn't obvious, like... I couldn't even do the Natsuki voice for the text message. Okay then, well, hopefully next time around my voice is feeling better, and we'll get to see more about how this unfolds. Anyway, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with whatever else I do. Stay golden, and later, folks.